Is this on your card? Oh, hey y'all! Today I'm going to be doing a comparison video between the NAPA 6637 air filter right here and your conventional AFE Stage 2. So, you know, I really like this video here today because it means I get to drive a truck real fast, and you know that should be a lot of fun. So we'll get to the science of this here in a little bit. I'll show you guys here real quick what the NAPA 6637 air filter is set up that I've got. So right here, this is about as simple as it gets. This is the setup that I've been running now for quite a few months. One of the drawbacks to this is that it is an open air filter. And what that means is that there's certainly a possibility that water and things of that sort can splash into it. And also it doesn't have any sort of heat shield around it to isolate in the air, and so it's not truly a cold air intake, it's kind of a warm air one. Okay guys, so right off the bat I'm going to talk about the differences between these two air filters. So the main deal is that the NAPA 6637 is a disposable type. It is a paper air filter. This is one that you can probably buy. You can buy the filter itself, I want to say like 60, 65 bucks at NAPA itself. Now my AFE here on the other hand, these things brand new run about $330, but they do have a reusable cotton-based air filter so that you can basically clean them and reuse them. So right now I've got the AFE set up. We're going to start off with that here to begin with today on the test, and then we'll later go back to the NAPA 6637. We'll just see if there's any sort of noticeable difference in terms of power output. Now guys, I want to get a couple things out of the way here real quick. First off, regarding my truck. Now this thing, it is not chipped, it is not tuned. It is completely stock with that regards. I've got stock injectors. This thing has about 353,000 miles on the odometer. I believe it has the original injectors, so they're a little bit worn out. I've already done a full-on exhaust system on this truck. It's got a 3-inch downpipe to a 3.5-inch downpipe, and then 4-inch from there on out with a muffler and no cat. Now guys, this may not necessarily be the best ideal test for the AFE versus the 6637 air filter, just because I am running stock tuning and I'm not really pushing the limits of either filter in this case. But we'll see if that makes any difference. Let's fire this thing up and see what happens. Alright guys, right off the bat, I can tell that the AFE has a little bit of a drone to it that I didn't really have with the NAPA 6637. You can definitely hear a little bit of that intake. Now this thing has a really nice design to it. It has the nice shield around it so that we can have a nice cold air intake, a true cold air intake for this truck. It actually will seal against the hood of the truck, and I really like that about it over the NAPA 6637. But overall, the AFE seems like it's a really nice setup. It looks very professional looking, and it's held in there quite securely. It even has a little spot that you can put that little air gauge, a filter minder. Alright guys, right now we've got the AFE intake in there right now, the AFE Stage 2. So we're going to take it for a spin. I got to let the sucker warm up still, but we'll see how it all goes. Okay guys, so far I can definitely hear a bit more of a turbo sound coming out of the air intake. It has a bit of this high-pitched whine that my 6637 air filter didn't really seem to have as much. Now I gotta say, right now it feels like this air intake gives me quite a bit more powerful. Like it's noticeable. Now I wonder if my 6637 might be a bit dirty at this point, but I still want to run a 0 to 60 times so we can see if it actually does make a difference or not. Because you could say it feels better or something like that, but I think the only way to really prove that is to do it numerically and take a test. Wait, let's go. 18. I had a bad time there. 18.95. Alright guys, I finally made out to one of my favorite places ever, in the middle of nowhere. Pretty great. Well, I just swapped out the AFE for the NAPA 6637 air filter. So let's go ahead and give this thing a shot and see how it goes. Alright guys, I'm doing quite a bit of testing and things of that sort. On average, the AFE was about 1 second quicker on the 0 to 60 times. So there's a little bit more to the story than just the power output of this. I still have the 6637 on my truck, and for good reason. Now, one of the main concerns that I've always had with the cotton reusable air filters is that, yeah, they flow a lot of air, but unfortunately they also flow a lot of dirt. I did find a really nice write-up online here. I'll send the link to that in the description here. But it's on this NicoCarClub.com. Like I said, I'll put the link down the bottom. It's debunking the K&N myth and why OEM is better. Basically, what these guys did was they took a 6.6 liter Duramax diesel and they compared the OEM paper style air filter to a K&N and AFE, along with some other ones that of similar style as the K&N, things of that sort. Now, 6.6 Duramax, it's smaller displacement, but it does also run a higher boost, so it's going to be comparable to our 7.3s. However, these guys were also comparing the stock air filters, not anything as large as, say, the NAPA 6637, or with as much capacity as, say, the AFE that I have for the 7.3. It's a really nice write-up. These guys did a really wonderful job. But what they ended up finding, best one for filtration was the AC Delco, which was their factory paper style, and it filtered out 99.93% of contaminants. Next up was the AFE, same brand as the air filter I have, which filtered out 99.23%. And in the worst was K&N with 96.8%, kind of pathetic. Now for reference, there was about 0.04 grams of crud got through the AC Delco paper filter, whereas 1.8 grams went through the AFE, and a miraculous 7 grams of garbage came through the K&N air filter. And guys, I'll have you know that this is in an extremely dusty environment, but another thing they did was they tested on a very limited time period. What they did in this test was they continued shooting dust at these air filters and had it through a flow bench, so basically air was getting sucked through it, so basically act just like your engine would, it would suck in dirt and contaminants. Well, interesting thing to note was that the AC Delco, the paper air filter, actually held up the best. It took a whopping 60 minutes for that thing to completely get plugged up, to the extent that it wasn't satisfactory anymore. K&N and the AFE were under half. They only took about 24 minutes or so of the same exposure before they got completely clogged up. Now certainly the paper air filter had a lot more restriction than the AFE and the K&N, but that kind of comes at a price. It does have significantly better filtration. That's the same story with the NAPA 6637. It's got a much superior filtration than the AFE. Alright guys, right over here I want to show y'all, this is what's called the dust loading curve that these folks had. Is that this blue line here is the AC Delco filter. Basically, this is a plot of restriction versus the dust delivered in grams to the air filter. So, for reference, the AC Delco at the end of this test had about 570 grams of material that had accumulated inside of it. That's how much stuff actually got pulled out of the air coming in. Now you can see that right over here on the left, it's measured in inches of water. Basically, that's a really low pressure measurement. But you can see that right down here, the AFE and the K&N started off with about 4.5 or about 5 inches of water, whereas the AC Delco had a little bit over about 6.5 as inches of water as the restriction system. But the other thing to note here is that there's kind of a flat curve as this AC Delco filter, as that paper filter really fills up with dirt. It has more of a flat slope to it. It's kind of a linear curve. So it takes a longer period of time basically for it to fill up and have an excessive amount of restriction. Whereas if you look at the K&N and the AFE, they have this sort of an exponential shape. Once they start accumulating dust and dirt, it just skyrockets in how quickly that stuff accumulates. So if there's anything you can get out of this, it's maybe that if you're running, say, an AFE or a K&N, clean it and you'd be surprised at how much power you get out of it. Now guys, the bottom line here is that if I were just doing racing, if I were just drag racing my truck, I'd probably go with the AFE or a K&N style, something of that sort, because in high horsepower applications, they will definitely flow more air. There is no denying that. But that being said, again, they also flow more dirt. So for everything else, I'm going to stick with my NAPA 6637. I know I'm probably leaving some horsepower down the table, but I'm also keeping my engine safe at the same time. Now, I'm sure you're like me, you depend on your truck pretty much every single day, and you want it to be there for you, you want it to last. And basically what tends to happen is that you can get what's called a dusting condition, which is where trucks get literally dusted, which means that there's a bunch of dirt and crud that gets past the air filter. When that stuff gets into the turbocharger, it basically acts as an abrasive, kind of like sandpaper, and it can dramatically increase the wear rates on everything inside your engine. And that's why it's so critical that you have good filtration. Now folks, in either situation, if you run an AFE or a NAPA 6637 air filter, over the stock, you will see a difference because you're reducing significantly the amount of restriction that there is. A lot of times those factory air boxes, what they do is they have the box around them to decrease the noise and decrease the resonance and things of that sort, but it does also, unfortunately, reduce a little bit of airflow. That being said, if you're fine with having a little bit of that turbo whine, like me, maybe like it, then having an open element air filter is not so bad. But I will caution you to be careful with the open elements air filters, especially if you're going anything with mud or water. They are still easy to contaminate. Either way, be careful with it, use common sense, and you guys will be fine. Well guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video here today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down in the comment box. And if you have any other thoughts about this as well, feel free to give me a shout out. Let me know what you think about all that. In the meantime, thank y'all very much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, and happy shopping for air filters. Y'all have a good one.